Welcome back to the Minnesota Twins franchise on MLB The Show 17. We continue on in year 2 today. The Twins are 21-19, around a quarter of the way through the season, and the month of May has not been very good for us. The Twins have lost 6 of their last 7 games, and they have one of the worst offenses in baseball right now, which is not what I expected entering this season. We have the 30th batting average in baseball, and we're just not putting up enough runs. Now in this episode, I intended to make some roster moves. I looked down at the AAA roster and how a lot of those players were doing. There are players that we know should be part of our future, such as Zach Granite and top 50 prospect Nick Gordon. Niko Goodrum is a player who has actually impressed down there with his current offensive numbers, and I considered calling him up. I also looked at the free agents and who could actually help us out. Danny Santana was there, and he was with the team for a few seasons. We did not bring him back for this year, but he hit .261 last season, and I would love to have that average back in the lineup this year. So I tried to give him a 1-year offer, but Santana really was wanting a multi-year contract, so we could not come to an agreement. The players I considered calling up the most were Niko Goodrum and Ryan Strasburger, but I did not make any moves here like I had thought I would. I did move some players around between the minor league system, so we're going to go through a game today with the Twins against the A's, and then we're going to go down to AAA and check out the AAA team and see if there's a player down there that might be deserving of a call-up. So let's jump into the first inning here against Sean Manaea. This is a Miguel Sano ground out on a pitch that you expect a player like him to really crush. Fernando Romero took the hill in this game for us, a 2-3 record but good ERA and a lot of strikeouts. In the first, here's Marcus Semien grounding it to second base, and uncharacteristically we start the game with an error. This is Eduardo Escobar trying to help out the team, as Brandon Phillips hasn't done very well. So we start with an error, and then Chris Davis into the left center gap, and that will bring home Semien, and the A's jump out in front with a 1-0 advantage. The Twins came into this episode with the 3rd best fielding percentage in baseball, so we hadn't seen a lot of that early in the year. We did come back in this inning though, and Romero did get himself a couple strikeouts, so the A's only get the 1 unearned run off of Romero. So how about this Twins offense? They have not done a whole lot for us lately. We're giving more playing time now to Daniel Palka, Kenny Vargas, and Jon Jay, hoping that somebody can help lift this offense. 1-2 count. Palka in front of a slider. Really good pitch to hit. He goes down swinging. Into the second with Romero. A runner on second base, but Romero is very good at getting these strikeouts in key situations. Number 8 hitter Matt Olson falls behind 0-2, but Romero leaves a pitch up, and this is slammed into the left field wall. And that brings home another run for Oakland. So a couple strong extra base hits early on for Oakland, then 2 down. Marcus Semien here with a full count. And Semien down swinging. Romero touches 98 on that upstairs fastball. Into the third with Minnesota, down 2. Jorge Polanco takes a pitch into left field for the Twins' first base hit. Polanco has actually been one of our better offensive players this year. And then Jason Castro with a slow roller into right, and the Twins have a little something going here. Eduardo Escobar wants to make up for that error. Here's a great chance. 2-1, looks at a fastball low, and swings through a changeup. Manaea with a really good sequence of pitches there as the A's keep the Twins scoreless. On to the fourth now. Twins still down 2-0 as Miguel Sano drives one out to right. Matt Joyce back to the wall as he watches this leave the park. Miguel Sano takes a fastball away and just drives it the other way, 348. It's not one of these 430-foot home runs we've come to see from Miguel Sano, but we'll sure take it. Later in the inning, how about Eddie Rosario to right center field? That is also gone! Rosario got all of that one. The Twins tie it with a couple solo home runs. Something we actually have not been that great at this season. Home run numbers are definitely down for an offense that should supply a few more. 408 this time for Eddie Rosario, his 7th on the season. The Twins began to figure things out here in the fourth. This is Yunel Escobar, ripped all the way into deep left field. 2 home runs and a double for the Twins, all in 1 inning. We're not used to this anymore. So Jorge Polanco now with 2 down, grounds it to short. And the inning comes to an end, but it was a very promising one for the Twins, taking advantage of a pitcher like Manaea who came in with a 5.01 ERA. So a tie game now, Romero in the 5th. Slider, Simeon goes around, doesn't like the call, but Romero adds another strikeout to his total with 2 down. 2-2 to Stephen Vogt, and a pitch left over the middle that is not coming back. Deep out to right field, another home run for the Athletics this time around, and it's a 4-2 ball game. It wasn't the sharpest outing for Fernando Romero, and there was one more big fly before his time in this game came to an end. This is Chris Davis getting a home run after a first inning double. So the Twins down 5-2 as we go on to the 6th inning. Manaea stays in the game. Palka gets a hold of this. He'll take it out to right center field. A towering fly ball that leaves over that extended fence. Why do they have it higher than the rest of the park? Still, Palka finds a way over it for his 2nd home run on the season. A 5-3 game as we go through these innings a little bit quicker, and Byron Buxton gives us our 4th home run on the day. Twins make it a 1-run game as we go on to the 8th inning. Here is Kenny Vargas. Oh, against the shift. How about Kenny down the line? And he'll have enough time to leg out the double. I like what Vargas has brought to this offense, and we bring out John Jay representing that tying run. It's up to Eddie Rosario in the 8th with 2 down and a 1-1 count. And Rosario sends it out to center. No doubt home run. The Twins take the lead on their 5th home run of the game. Rosario hits 2 of them, and the Twins bring themselves back with the long ball. 407. Can they hang on to it? Trevor May in the game. This is drilled, but right at Byron Buxton. He makes the catch. 2 down here, and the batter is Matt Olson. On the ground to short, Polanco to 2nd, inning over, and that sets up Glenn Perkins for a save opportunity. Now, Glenn has not been as sharp lately. He's blown a couple saves, and the ERA is now 3.93. 0-2, base hit. The A's have the tying run on first base. Here is Stephen Vogt, and he will fly into left field. Rosario gets underneath it, and the Twins 1 out from victory, but not an easy out against the great Chris Davis. Fastball on the corner from Perkins at 97. Then a 2-seamer gets a swing and miss. Perkins? Nope, low with the slider. Now inside, but Davis checks his swing and looks at a fastball up. Great job by Davis. That puts the tying run at 2nd for Mark Canha. Perkins able to control his fastball, get ahead in the count, and get Canha to pop it up in foul territory. There's Mauer. He gloves it, and the Twins get the victory with a very impressive performance with 5 home runs. Now, of course, when you go long 5 times, you hope you score more than 6 runs. But we weren't able to get enough base runners in this game. So 9 hits total, 5 over the fence. It's still a work in progress, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come. Here are some numbers on the day. Jake Reed gets the victory with 2 scoreless innings of relief. He still has the highest ERA on the team, or lowest ERA on the team, I should say. Now let's go down to AAA. I wanted to see this Rochester offense and who I could possibly call up. Also a great chance to see how Jose Barrios is doing down there. The ERA is solid, but he's walking a lot of batters right now. So let's go into the first inning. Barrios is here with a 92-mile-per-hour fastball and a filthy curve on the outside corner. A player like Barrios with great potential should stand out at this level of competition. But this goes down the line, a base hit for the Buffalo Bison we were up against in this International League matchup. And then Barrios starts to lose his command here. Everything is pretty close, but the batter shows great discipline, and Barrios walks him on 4 pitches. A couple of those could have been strikes, but when you don't have consistent command, a lot of times you don't get those close calls. Against Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he bounces back and gets another strikeout with that curveball. Guerrero is one of the top 50 prospects, by the way. 2 on and 2 down. Barrios gets the ground ball to first base. Nice play there by Ben Paulson. They make the play and the Rochester Red Wings get out of the inning. So let's go to the offense. A lot of lefties here at the top, beginning with Zach Granite. He was excellent down at AA last year and even got to make his Major League debut. And you can't leave a breaking ball up in the zone against him. Deep out right center, he's gonna fly. They finally get it as he's approaching third base. Granite will not hit the brakes. He goes inside the park with the home run. How about that for a first impression from this Rochester offense? That was the first pitch they saw of the entire game, and Granite shows exactly what he can do when he gets a hold of a ball. Behind him in the order is Nick Gordon, our top position player prospect in the organization, and he grounds it out quickly to third base. At the 4th spot, we have Nico Goodrum, who has the highest average at AAA. This is down and right, and the right fielder will roll past it as Goodrum rounds second, and he shows his speed. Goodrum ends up with a triple. Now, I'd like to see him develop a bit more, but he is 26. I'm kind of thinking about calling him up to see what he can do at the majors. And can you tell we're at the minor leagues? How about these outfielders? Ryan Strasburger, base hit plus a couple extra. He drives in the run. The outfield is so much fun when you go down to the minors. You never know what's going to happen. Now, I called up Mitch Garver from AA as he was crushing it. He strikes out here. In the 2nd inning, Barrios back to work, and this is driven to left center. Zach Granite is right there. Great range. Imagine having that kind of speed next to Byron Buxton. Here's a fly ball into right. It's shallow, and that was probably not necessary. A Johnny Sandoval dive will allow a run to come home. So everybody's making outfield mistakes. Later in the 2nd, there's a changeup from Barrios. He does get the strikeouts. Bottom 2 now for Rochester. This is Quentin Berry, a player who did very well last year. He's also doing well this season, and he's in his 30s. Maybe he is deserving of a spot on the Major League roster. This is up the middle. Johnny Sandoval trying to get a hit and run going here, and that didn't work out too well for us. It went perfectly for the defense. So going through a few of these innings quicker, we see Barrios get himself into some trouble, allowing a lot of hits. We see the strikeouts for sure, but just too many walks and hits allowed. I still think he's going to need some time down at AAA. Bases loaded here in the 3rd inning for Mitch Garver, the catcher. And that was a terrible swing. Garver down swinging. Let's go back to some quick simming here. Barrios, never able to really settle into a complete inning. He was allowing a lot of hits and walks. Still got a lot of strikeouts, but it just wasn't very smooth. You can see his ERA does climb a bit in this outing as well. Into the 6th now, a strikeout here for Zach Granite. Rochester began the game impressively, but not many runs to show for it. Here is Nick Gordon into left field, and this does fall in for a base hit, so the Red Wings have a couple on board. Here is Ben Paulson, the big first baseman, grounded onto short. Phenomenal play. And the Bisons get out of the inning. Great play by shortstop Jonathan Diaz. Bottom 8 now for Rochester. This was almost through the middle. A-Ray Adrianza ends up grounding out. That takes us to Quentin Berry, who got on base earlier. And he'll take another pitch up and send that back through the middle. At some point, I do want to get him some Major League playing time. I do think he's earned it. Zach Granite now with 2 down. Gets jammed here a bit. Inside out fly ball. It's pretty lazy, and the catch is made. Now, before this game got over with, I did want to see our young pitcher, Nick Burdi. He was phenomenal at AA, and I want him to become a closer. Glenn Perkins is pretty old right now, and I'd like to get another young closer with some potential. Burdi has given up a lot of hits this year. The average is very high. And here is a double into the right center gap. Now, Burdi's game is all about velocity and strikeouts. So he's giving up some hard hit contact. But here's a nice play made by Niko Goodrum over at third base. Then the 0-2 count to the next batter. This is lifted into the shallow part of the outfield. Then Goodrum tracks it down to make a nice over-the-shoulder catch. With 2 down, there's a circle change from Nick Birdie. He gets ahead. There's the fastball at 97 to finish out the inning. So one last chance for the Red Wings. Nick Gordon up first. 0-2, late behind the slider. That's a pitch that you'd like to see him connect with. Then Ben Polson, full count. He ends up walking. Red Wings get to their last out, and this is Strasburger up the middle. Tying run is at the plate now in the form of Mitch Garver in his first game up at AAA. But Garver swings and misses at the slider, and the Red Wings fall to the Buffalo Bisons 5-2. I was definitely impressed by Niko Goodrum in this game. He had a couple hits and played some good defense. I am considering calling him up for next episode. What do you guys think of that idea? I would have to make room on the 40-man roster for him. So let's go back 2,700 miles west to Oakland. The Twins are down by 1 here in the 9th inning. Daniel Palka off the bench delivers a pinch hit single, and that is going to tie the game for Minnesota. Palka is earning himself even more playing time with every big hit. I think he'll be making some more starts in the near future. 2 on, 2 down. Eddie Rosario wants to send this out and maybe a bit in front of this into foul territory. And then Rosario looks at a fastball. It's in the zone. Didn't like it. And he goes down looking. So how about Byron Buxton? 0 for 4, average below 200. Maybe he needs a little bit of time at AAA to get his bat correct. Grounded onto second base. Not much of a fight there. Twins go down here in the 9th inning, but it is tied. We bring Buddy Boshears into the game, and Boshears gets a nice call on the fastball. But a great swing on this, slicing it the other way and beating the shift. Impressive job there as the A's get the winning run on first. But then Boshears comes back. Nice fastball there. 0-2. Got another one for you. A sinker on the outside corner. 2 down. Looking to go to extra innings, but this does get through the infield. The A's beat the shift twice here in the 9th. That brings up Marcus Semien for Oakland. 0-1 from Boshears. And he hits him. So the bases get loaded for Chris Davis. The last hitter in this lineup I wanted to see at the plate. Boshears falls behind 2-0. And then Davis finds one he likes, grounded to short, and it's bobbled, and no one covers second. The Twins lose it. But it looked like maybe they could have gotten Davis at first. But an error there charged to John Jay, who was playing at shortstop because we had so many substitutions late in the game, we were out of infielders. I saw the ground ball, thought we could go to second base, get out of the inning, and it didn't work out that way. Oakland takes that game, but this was a 4-game series, so here is the final game as Glenn Perkins is on the mound trying to finish it off. He does get a couple strikes here quickly. And then Perkins gets a swing and miss on a low fastball. The Twins end up splitting the series with Oakland. The offense was a bit better in this series as well, but at this point I am thinking about sending down Byron Buxton with an average below 200 and players like John Jay and Daniel Palka who could play in the outfield and give us an offensive boost. That might be the move to make right now and hope that Buxton has, a week or so of good play down in the minors and he can get it fixed. In this episode, we did not cover a lot of ground, just this Oakland series, partially because we went down to AAA to take a look at the Red Wings, but we are now in a 3-way tie for first place, 23-21, and we're only 3-7 in our last 10 games. Looking at our numbers, the best averages belong to Daniel Palka, Kenny Vargas, John Jay, and Joe Mauer. That is not what I expected going into this season. What changes can we make, though, within the organization? We don't have a lot of hitters who are tearing it up down at AAA right now. We could call up Niko Goodrum or Ryan Strasburger. We'll have to make some roster decisions, though, if that is the case, because we're going to have to open up a 40-man spot, maybe send somebody down or release somebody outright. Now, the MLB draft is approaching. I'm looking forward to it. but I have failed to give you guys any scouting updates before the draft. So I wanted to cover some of those players today. I believe we picked second in the draft this year, and we don't really need to take a pitcher with our first selection, so I feel like we have a lot of options right now. I'll probably focus on position players in this draft because we have a lot of young pitchers in our organization. I think we have to start focusing on offense. Here is Claudio Alvarez with very high potential but would take a long time to reach it, and he's got a pretty balanced skill set. Here is starting pitcher prospect Todd Hood, 6'1", 174, more break than velocity, elite stamina. There is also Trey Corley from Pennsylvania. He's got a lot of break, some strikeout upside, a 12-6 curveball. I'm really interested in him. I want to come away hopefully with another starting pitcher prospect in this draft, but I don't think we have to take 2 or 3 this time around. But who do we possibly target with our top selection? Could a player like James Harms be an option? He could have elite contact upside. Or how about one of my favorites, Dwight Esposito, who already has 75 potential and 80 overall. His power upside is tremendous and the contact is elite as well. He might be the best offensive player in this draft class. There's also Julio Aponte, who has great contact as well, will give you some power in the outfield. And these last few hitters have a very early MLB ETA. How about Christopher Meredith? Very speedy outfielder, 5'8", 206, 23 years old. You know I like fast outfielders. Floyd McMullen. Wouldn't make it to the majors for quite some time, but another option for us with a lot of speed. So the draft episode will be sometime in the near future. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you thought of those prospects down in the comment section. That will do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching and supporting the Minnesota Twins franchise. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel for much more on the way, and leave your feedback in the comment section. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time.